Hello, Augies worldwide. If you're a subscriber, you're an Augie, because that's what we call our subscribers. Welcome to all Augies from around the world. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and this is another episode of Ask Dave. The question today comes from KX4UI, and he is asking about what's inside a 49-to-1 Balun. Now, a 49-to-1 Balun, the turns ratio is the square root of that, or 7. Now, he says he's seen baluns with 14-to-2 windings, 21-to-3, 28-to-4. They all have the same ratio. He says, what's the difference? There are a lot of things affecting that. The 21-to-3 is quite common, okay? The higher the frequency, the fewer the turns that you need. Okay, it has a lot to do with the type of core, and so the manufacturer or the kit builder will send you a core that it wants used and will tell you the turns ratio that it wants to use. Now note that these things work for end-fed antennas from 80 meters all the way up to 10 meters, sometimes even 6. Okay, now that's a broad frequency range, and the transfer ability of that toroid core varies with frequency. So you can go with 4, but that might be a little bit too much, because remember, every turn adds circulating currents in that toroid, circulating RF currents. So if you go with too high a number for the primary, you've got to go with really high number for the secondary. That tends toward the lower frequency part. If you do few turns, it goes to the high. So the question is, what is the appropriate amount? The ARRL kit for an end-fed antenna uses a toroid that we do 3 turns on the primary and 21 turns on the secondary for a ratio of 7-to-1. You square that for the impedance ratio and get 49-to-1. If you're winding your own Balun, check the sources. There's a whole section on baluns in the ARRL antenna book and in the handbook. Okay? Also, the Rothamel's book has those too. There's lots of information you can find on the internet. One of the problems with toroidal cores is that they are most often, nearly all the time, are not marked. So you don't know what type of core material you have, you don't know about the permeability, you don't know anything. By the way, magnetic cores, these toroids, can saturate. It won't take any more magnetism past a certain point. Well, that energy's got to go somewhere, so it heats the core. And if you heat the core too much, it will shatter. Hopefully you've got it in a box, okay? So this is why the winding of transformers is a bit of a black art. Let's call it a gray art. If you're getting stuff as part of a kit, you're fine. If you're following an instruction article that you get from a reputable magazine or a reputable website, you're probably okay. There's a lot of by guess and by golly out there too, so be careful. I would go with a kit like the ARRL kit and so on, and point out that the most common one that I see is 21-to-3 for the turns ratio. That's 7-to-1, and that gives you a 49-to-1 output. Now, I have another antenna here that I have not tested yet that actually has an 8-to-1 turns ratio, so it's 64-to-1, and I'm going to test that and see how well that works, because the instructions say that it'll only work on one band and you have to trim it for that band. I'm going to see if that's really true or if it will work on all the bands. But now if you're doing this for like POTA or especially SOTA, summits on the air, then you don't want to carry heavy or big antennas with you. And an end fed is a nice thing to deal with. If you're only going to be on 20 meters, why cut it for longer? Okay, so you can do that, by the way, that's fine. Again, if you saturate that core, you will heat it. You heat it enough, it will shatter or break or whatever. Remember, most of these cores are made of powder pressed together with some kind of a binder that keeps each of these little granules separate from each other so you don't get eddy currents. I'll let you look up eddy currents, EDDY currents. You can look that up on Wikipedia. This keeps high currents from flowing around inside. But the magnetic permeability, all of these kinds of things are specifications that have to do with it. Now, in the handbook, it'll tell you these types of cores from these manufacturers are good for this. But know that one manufacturer may mark its Type 73 core yellow and another one red. There's no standardization. It is, in my mind, a cost-saving measure taken too far. Every toroid coil should be marked with the mixed type, frequency ratio, all of the different types of parameters that you carry about. One of them would be the maximum power carrying capacity. Okay, now I have seen in some baluns people stack cores so they wind around the whole thing in an effort to overcome the problem of saturating one of the cores. To me, toroid winding from scratch is a black art. I have yet to see a really good definition or introductory book to the hows and whys of cores, how to make baluns from scratch, power ratios, what you can do. I've never seen that book. If you know these things, why don't you write that book? Send it to the league, let them publish that, so that the rest of us poor frustrated engineers can figure it out. So there you have it. I hope that answers your question. Again, 21 to 3 is the most common. A 14 to 2 would be for higher frequencies only. 28 to 4 would be for lower frequencies, and you might run into problems using that on higher frequencies. 21 to 3 seems to be about the usual. Why don't you become one of my patrons? I really appreciate the support and thank the patrons for making this channel possible. And without their support, I would not be able to do so. So until we next meet, 73.